Howdy, wild cards, middle schoolers, and horror aficionados. Welcome to Friday of Halloween 2022. We are here with the Kickstarter Spooktacular for our Pinebox Middle School and Horror Companion Kickstarter, which is going absolutely amazing, folks. I think last time I looked this morning, let's go look now. It's crazy. We broke through all the stretch goals, and Simon needed to post some more, so we'll get to those in a hot minute. But we are over 1,200 backers, so thank you. And there's just a day under 2 weeks to go, so very excited. We're joined by a great crew today. We've got Mr. Shane Hensley himself. Welcome, sir. Clint Black, welcome. And then Tracy and Simon, you two. I think we're going to get you guys up first because you're about to run off and play or run in some Halloween games. So, Simon, sir, since we're talking about the Kickstarter, let me see if I can pull it up here. We can run through. Apparently, something spectacular happened last night, and a bunch of folks decided to back the campaign, and we launched through both of the open stretch goals. So we are, I think you just very few minutes ago posted some new ones. So
I did, yeah. We took me by surprise a little bit with a sudden surge last night, but. Yeah, we've added some more adversary cards for Pinebox. That'll take us up to 18 cards if that one gets unlocked. And then for the horror companion, we've added a box to hold all of the archetype cards that we've unlocked so far. So
what's in the box? What's in the box?
In the box is the archetype cards we've already unlocked. But it keeps them all in one place, and it stops them from kind of spreading around the office.
Are you telling me we couldn't afford Gwyneth Paltrow to be to be in the box? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, we didn't. No. We did not reach that stretch goal. Okay, maybe that's next.
Okay. So one of the stretch goals actually has the best dad joke ever. Let's see if we can get in on the zoom down on the art, because I personally think this is the greatest monster of all time. Oh, let's get there. Look at all these stretch goals we've unlocked, folks. We've got more monsters. We've got the adversary cards, which are fantastic. We've done the pulp horror, the clubhouses, cursed relics, the floating brain, which is scary enough, the Lovecraftian, which is amazing. Oh, and so folks, someone asked, like, is this a conversion of Call of Cthulhu? No. You still get the fast, furious fun of Savage Worlds. We just get their monsters. So don't worry. You can still, if you want your investigative game, you can still play Call of Cthulhu. The Monster Talisman, the Gaslight Horror. There we go. There it is. the Doberman Pinscher. Oh, if you could zoom in on that art, let me see if I can get in a little closer. Can we get in? Oh, way too close. I'll pull up the image separately. It's great. The Doberman Pinscher art is hilarious.
Great is a interesting word for it. Yes.
Let's see. Here we go. Let's try this. Here we go. The Doberman Pinscher. Oh, it's great. The Doberman
that was
with
Preston's brainchild there.
Oh, I'll have to ask about him. So we've got a ETU retrospective coming up this weekend stream, which we're going to go back through all the wonderful Pinebox, Texas as a place universe, the ETU universe. And I'll have to ask Preston about where he came up with the Doberman Pinscher because
if you can't make it out from that image, it's a Doberman with kind of like two crab claws.
Like two crab claws attached to its chest.
What? That's fantastic. It's fantastic, like total dad joke. So folks, the big excitement is that that's kind of one of the big things that I like that you guys have done, Tracy and crew on Pinebox, is make monsters that seem fitting for a middle school kind of audience. I mean, it's easy to just pull anything out of the Horror Companion or the other ETU kind of thing, but I do like that they're a little more cheeky. They're a little more approachable, they're more fun, they're more what middle school and protagonists would would be facing, and plus dad jokes. That's great. So the guys, we are currently, I think, let's see, to go check the total at the top. So I knew we had 1,200 backers. We are at 124,144. That's great, really great number. So if we get that up to, oh my God, there's so much on this page. So good. The 128. Okay, so that's just 4,000 away, less than 4,000 away. That's doable, folks. Just get a couple of your friends to back, share that you're playing in Halloween games and that Halloween is a celebration of all things Pinnacle, and that there's Kickstarter going. If you let your folks know, we'll get up the middle school monsters unlocked ASAP, hopefully this weekend. And then the horror archetype card box. Everyone, Simon, I got to give you props. Folks are really excited about kind of all the, I don't know if it's improved production value, but it's definitely like well thought out utilitarian stuff that Pinnacle has been doing with the Pathfinder box set, and we've got a box for the cards for Deadlands. That's just like we knew we need to give you one, and we got that. So the fact that we're going to have one, I mean, we're going to get to 138, folks. We really are. We hope we are. We got 2 weeks. 2 weeks to get there. We'll get there.
I mean, we've added a lot of bits and pieces that you can use at the table, things that help the GM out, and it's a lot of fun to make them, but it's a lot of work too. On which note, actually, just today I received production proof of Holler.
Awesome.
So I thought we will do a proper unboxing of it later if you like, but I thought it might be helpful to show the sort of contents that you'll get in Pinebox Middle School as well, because it'll be a similar size box. So you'll have, opening the box, you'll have a map, in this case Holler. In Pinebox, it'll be the school itself, selection of pawns, and then the action deck archetypes, bennies, and dice. Holler has the scene setters, which aren't in the middle school box, but then we have the GM screen and the book itself. 2
adventures for Pinebox.
Yeah, so it'll be a very similar size and layout for Pinebox. But I know Tracy hasn't seen this yet either, so I have to show it off a little bit.
This is awesome.
That's what the Pinebox box will look like.
Wait, you can't just put that on the floor. We need to hear it thunk against the table. That's the rules, sir. We put it in the contract.
I can't drop it yet.
Okay. That's gorgeous. And so are we hoping for delivery for Holler like early in the new year for folks? Is that kind of our timeline?
Yeah, the current timeline is that it should arrive before Christmas in the warehouse, but I don't think it's not in enough time for us to actually ship it out. So it's going to be early New Year for delivery.
Oh, that's a great way to ring the new year. So awesome. Yay. Everyone gets excited when there's production sample shown. And oh my God, there's already like 30 comments that I haven't gotten to. Perfect. So let me write to the comments real quick because I was too busy pulling up stuff. Jody's watching because her hubby's in the audience. Welcome, guys. Yes, pawns. There are definitely pawns.
Specify which of us are our favorite people.
That's true. Definitely not Clint. Not Clint.
I think that was intentional.
Oh, so here's one, guys. Since we are running the Kickstarter, you can share the link to the Kickstarter. So the link is in the chat of all the different platforms. I'll do it again right now. And if you haven't seen it, you can go back now. There are 2 different tracks. So if you just want to do Pinebox, you can just do Pinebox stuff. You can just do Horror Companion stuff, or the real savings comes when you combine them both. And then if you want to do a la carte, all of that will be available in our Game Changer Pledge Manager after the campaign. So grab if you're going to do physical eventually, grab a physical pledge level, because you need to be physical to upgrade to more physical, and get the Kickstarter shipping and all the good stuff in. But yeah, our Game Changer Pledge Manager has been working really well for us recently, so we're confident that you guys will be able to mix and match everything you want in the Pledge Manager afterwards if you're the a la carte type. And then so that link is in the chat, so you can go share it for your campaign, or go there and pick up stuff now. But I'm super excited to see that Holler. I mean, Holler's been, this is Halloween weekend. The whole reason we're here is to celebrate Holler and Halloween. And Donald is currently running some Holler games. Thank you, Donald, for keeping up the Holler spirit there. But getting our hands on it looks gorgeous. So Tracy, since you worked on both of Pinebox Middle School and Holler, what do you think? Some comparisons between the two? Any kind of lessons from Holler that worked their way into Pinebox Middle School? Anything like that?
Well, they're really different, right? Working with Tim was different than working with Preston and Ed. It was just a different experience, and certainly I learned a lot in terms of some of the subtleties of adapting things for Savage Worlds, and also in tone, right? So Holler is a bit of a different tone than Pinebox, obviously. It's darker, more dangerous, and I mean some of the beasts in Holler are horrifyingly scary. And but that said, with Pinebox, I actually added a few beasts to the bestiary to make it a little bit more scary. So as you've said, and I think this is great to point out, like a lot of the beasts in Pinebox Middle School are sort of cheeky and geared toward that the middle school antagonist, right? It's like the clown, the KLOWN. The art for it is really cool. It's both creepy and funny and weird, and it gives that vibe that you kind of want in a middle school setting. But at the same time, me coming off of Holler and knowing what Savage Worlds is, it was important to me to give us a couple of real boss monsters for the Pinebox Middle Schoolers, in case the GM really wanted to give it to them, really wanted to just put them into the deep end, right? And one of those is the sewer tentacle monster, which was inspired by the art we got for the cover of Pinebox Middle School, which you see in the background here. And I've got various abilities where it can shoot tentacles out of any kind of sewer drain or toilet bowl or whatever, right? And you got kids daring each other to look down in holes in the city to see if they can see it. It's a big boss level threat, and it has some really interesting things and an exploit, of course, that you can take advantage of as a middle schooler to try to defeat it once and for all. But it's one of those things you're not going to find easy to defeat. And another one is the Blood Demon, which was in my GM screen adventure, but now I've sort of made it a little more generic for the book itself, because I wanted to put it in the book, right? We have great art for it. It's scary as hell, and I wanted to put it in the book. So I made it a little more generic, but if you want a specific adventure that deals with a blood demon, that's what the GM screen adventure has, and it's again a boss level monster. It's no slouch, and it's something that you will have to sort of deal with on a longer term basis, right? So one of the lessons of Holler for me was to make sure that we have those really scary threats, just in case you really want to go there. because Savage Worlds, it's really easy to create monsters that are really easy to defeat, right? Like, that's fun. It's fun to defeat monsters. That's great. But it's also fun to have something that really scares you and really keeps you on your toes, especially as you advance as middle schoolers into 7th and 8th grade.
Clint and Tracy, I'll ask you these questions. So some early questions in chat are kind of about how is this the same and different than, for example, Stranger Things, and where does the IP come from? So I think if we're definitely going to do a full ETU retrospective stream, guys, this weekend. So head on over to Tabletop Events and sign up for that, so you get a reminder. But to get the short version of that question, I'll let Clint and Tracy kind of talk about what is ETU, East Texas University, what is that world like? And then how is our middle school Kids on Bikes same and unique from other kind of popular properties like the Goonies and It and Stranger Things? So take it away, fellas.
Well, if you want to see where the property comes from, I'm actually repping it right now on my shirt.
Nice.
Yeah. I can tell you that this shirt is over 15 years old. It was a gift for my birthday that the guys at 12 to midnight sent Jody so she could present it to me at my birthday party. Phenomenal. But yeah, I mean, Pinebox itself as a setting, I mean, it really goes back to when Last Rites of the Blackguard came out, because that occurs in the city. I mean, that was their first adventure they put out, and it was amazing, phenomenal. I'm not sure if ETU is specifically mentioned, or if there is a thing of there is a local university and college in that. But just the fact that the town itself, and it's an interesting throwback that in that adventure there are 2 kids who are very much a big focus of that adventure. So you could, I think it's interesting that you could very easily take that old adventure and make the middle school kids friends of the children from that family and completely run it with Pinebox Middle School. So much of their stuff works so well that way. But yeah, I mean, Pinebox itself, all the adventures they had set there. Then, of course, East Texas University, and
so that one's more like a Buffy kind of, college kids fighting the horror while still maintaining, you have access to a car and maybe a gun or a baseball bat, kind of,
guns will get you in trouble on campus, that's for sure. Yeah.
They will, but it didn't stop us from, by the time we were veteran and heroic, having shotguns in duffel bags because we knew better, right? That said, though, what makes it so unique is that Texas feel, and we've talked about that before, where they take some of the legends, like in Pinebox Middle School, we have the Donkey Lady, which is a cryptid legend that is centered around Texas, like skunk apes, stuff like that. These really chupacabras, these really specific kind of creatures that are very kind of localized in that region and sort of put you there, right? In addition to the fact that it's a forest, that's a big thicket, it's not what you think of as Texas, and yet it still is Texas. And that's what makes it really unique. And ETU had that feel all over it. We hope that Pinebox has the same feel, because it is the same place. And you can sort of play around with that. First of all, that modern rural, because Texas, spread out like that in East Texas, you're not exactly in the New York modern world, right? You're still a little bit thrown back, right? And so it's not like you're completely modern back there, but it is modern. Like, cell phone signal is a problem, in rural Texas. That's just the way it is. But it still has that character of what Texas is. It's hard to really put your finger on, but it's there. And that I think is what really sets the setting apart from other, Kids on Bikes games and horror college games and stuff like that. I
think you said it really, really well in another previous stream that, like, Texas is a protagonist in this setting. And
it's definitely a character, yes.
Yeah, it is a character. Yeah, and and I think Stranger Things, it doesn't have the whole, like, 80s is a character for Stranger Things, like 80s nostalgia specifically. This is modern, so there is a different kind of niche and a different kind of fun there. So We like that. So Simon, before we let you go, sir, there are some questions in chat. Superpower Companion just arrived this last week and the week before for folks. And so Unicor wants to know any updates on when Fantasy might be coming in. So where is Fantasy in the pipeline of production?
Yeah, we don't have an ETA for it yet. All the files are with the printer, and they're reviewing all our files. Usually, once they've been through and reviewed all the files, given us a thumbs up that everything checks out, then they'll give us a tentative ETA. But it's still got to go through print and proof, and then mysteries of shipping will kick in, and we'll receive it when it gets here. But it'll be early next year.
Yeah,
I have a question for Simon.
Oh,
What game are you playing tonight?
I'm playing Deadlands.
Nice.
I've heard of that. I heard it's good.
I've heard good things. I'm gonna go with either the Muckraker or the Tin Horn. So I'm gonna be useless no matter what, but it'll be
As usual. Yes.
Yep. But it'll be a flavor of useless. I haven't decided yet.
wow, we're going a deep dive on back end peg production stuff with Simon tonight. Jeez, letting some secrets out to the public. I mean, poor Simon, he actually is amazing. Almost everything that you guys touch from Pinnacle has gone through Simon's hands, which I don't know, sounded pervier than it meant to be, but
Doesn't sound sanitary for sure.
That's why he's got those big muscles. Is that he does all the heavy lifting on getting stuff out the door. Well, he gets it produced. Then Jody does the heavy lifting on getting it out the door.
Actually, Simon, you want to tell us a Halloween horror story about that big scar on your arm?
Okay.
No.
Do it.
No. I had surgery on my arm earlier this year. But there is no mysterious horror story.
And why do you?
No.
surgery?
Go ahead.
So I foolishly signed up for a tackle football league, and I was playing football, trying to move people several times my size, and
But the real mystery though is that you're going to do it again, right?
I did sign up again. That's true.
That's the mystery. That's the thing we don't all understand.
Wait, is this like the Giselle Bundchen and Tom Brady? Is this your wife threatening divorce because you're going back to the sport?
Oh, she's the other way around. She'll divorce him if he doesn't.
It is kind of driven by somebody else.
Now,
But yeah,
Simon
I tore the bicep off the bone, and it needed to be reattached.
Off
It was
the
pretty
bone.
grim.
Now, Simon, this is an over 40 league, surely, right?
No.
Over
I'm
30?
significantly older than all the other players and most of the coaches, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
glory,
I'm not
glory.
saying it's wise, but it keeps me fitter. Otherwise, I just sit here in my chair and get large.
Wait, that's my niche. That's my niche. Back off. Back off, bud. So here's a good question for everybody. I'm going to rephrase it a bit, but yeah, the question is, what's new in the Horror Companion for those who already own a previous edition? I'm going to change it up a little bit and give you guys time to answer. Perhaps, what is your favorite new addition to the Horror Companion? And so I think we'll start there. So for who should we have start first? Okay, Simon. Simon's ready to go. So Simon, what's your favorite? What's new? What's your favorite?
I'm just a production guy, so for me it's going to be the new trade dress, new art throughout. It'll be the printed end papers that we do. Obviously, it's going to be a hardcover book, and then we have the ribbons in there. So it's just kind of like slightly more deluxeified version, but it'll look super nice.
Okay, so giving you guys a little more time. My favorite thing is the Lovecraftian monsters. I think it's great that even though some of those in the public domain, that we now have access to the official, because of the friendship with Chaosium, the Call of Cthulhu monsters. Someone did ask before if we're going to have a Cthulhu pawn. Cthulhu is not big enough or small enough to fit in the box, guys. Cthulhu is the house you're playing your RPG in, not a pawn for the box. Although, Simon, as long as you have the pawns from Hollard, do you want to show off like the really huge pawn? I think this is we have a dragon in one of the other ones, but I'll give you a second to find the pawn box again because it can't be too far. You didn't stand up.
Set of pawns. It's okay.
Oh, are they shrink wrapped?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, okay.
So they don't all fall out in the box.
Well, fantastic packaging. Thank you for that. But we have a really, really cool big pawn in Holler. And so, yeah, guys, Elder Gons don't fit on the pawns, just so you know. And Tracy, when we get to you for your favorite part, I also want you to talk about, because we just unlocked it, the talismans.
Okay.
Because that's something cool for Pinebox Middle School. So,
So this, I think, is
Oh.
the biggest pawn we've done so far, which is the Piney King.
The Piney King. Size
okay.
7.
And then against
And there's Jody from last night down there. There's
human-sized pawn. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
Jody played a werebear last night in the Rifts game, so there's a good pawn for her. And I'm excited. So thank you, Jess. Jess is one of the people behind the scenes who make sure we give you as many pawns as possible on those sheets and make sure that the cut lines work and they don't kill the pawns.
And importantly, too, she spends a lot of time making sure that they are sized between settings. So if you buy Deadlands pawns, you can use them in Rifts, or if you want robots and you have the Rifts pawns, you can bring them into your other game. So she works hard to try and make sure that they're standardized across all the lines.
We love that.
Is some of our secret sauce behind the scenes. She keeps things pretty lively in our play test too. We appreciate her a lot. We don't get to see her much on screen, but
it is funny. She's a little nervous to come on screen. She is not nervous playing Savage Worlds.
No, she's not.
We just need to get her in an actual. Well, she's been in some actual plays. She's great. So chef's kiss on the work that Jess has done. And you mentioned, like, during the live stream, you guys want to check that. It's in our YouTube. Go to Peg Inc. On YouTube to check out the Rifts live stream. There was a glom from Deadlands snuck into the Rifts game. So we like crossing the streams like that. That's the most fun. So that's the reason I think I like the Lovecraftian monsters. It's just, not even using them in a Lovecraftian everyone's going to go insane game. Just like, let's see what happens if someone shows up at Deadlands or maybe Rippers, because those are awesome settings that we make. Yes, the Corpse Skellion was totally the glom, like Rips Corpse Skeleton, Deadlands glom. Okay, so Tracy,
you absolutely need to watch that actual play to literally see Jody curse a player.
Nice.
I mean, actually curse the player. The game.
It was good. Okay, so Tracy, what's your favorite parts of the new books?
All subject to change at this point, of course. So, take it as you will. But I think my favorite aspect of the horror companion that Shane's been working on is the wards and binds thing. What neat about it, I think, and what's new from the old one is it's a very specific way of binding creatures and warding them that is not magically related. Right, so you can do it with mundane things like salt circles and all these talismans or sigils or whatever all the specific things you need to do for a specific creature in order to create some kind of binding circle or a ward for them that it is not related to magic. It gives you another option as players. If you don't want to do it magically, there are ways to do it mundanely, right? And it gives the GM another option to weave into their adventures. And I think that's one of my favorite aspects of the horror companion. And then you mentioned talismans for Pinebox Middle School. We've created a bunch of different ones. And again, because you guys have unlocked the stretch goal, I've been writing some new ones, which are just little, like, regular old things that kids can use that are infused with some power. Right. And you have to have a trigger. You have to, do something to it to activate it, and then make a spirit roll and then hope that you activate it. Right. And so it can be anything from Jenny's tennies, which are tennis shoes that your trigger is to say ready, set, go. And then you roll your spirit roll, and then maybe something you'll double your pace or something like that. Or just all kinds of other little things that we've created, like the dual and dart pistol. So with the dual and dart pistol, the trigger for that it's a regular dart pistol. It's like a Nerf gun, right? But if you put your lips up to the barrel and go, and then shoot it, and then you roll your spirit roll to see if you activate it, you get a bolt instead, right?
Oh, that's cool.
So, and there's limited ammo for it. So once you're out, you're out. But having that and being able to use that when the time is right is really, really cool and really fun for I think the middle school setting. When the chips are down and you need a bolt, you've got it, right? But you only have so many of them. So those are some of the talismans we're making, and we're doing some more because you've unlocked stretch goals. And yeah, that's my favorite stuff.
Oh, that's perfect. And so sorry, folks. I promised we were going to get Tracy's take on the archetypes this week, and it's going to be over the weekend or next week. Sorry, I'm still working on the videos, but those are some great stuff. We did just to show you guys real quickly what's coming up before we let Tracy and Simon go so they can prep for their games. This is the lineup for the archetypes in Pinebox Middle School, and you can see that they're very unique. They definitely fill in a lot of niches that the other kind of Savage Worlds, Kids on Bikes, and other game Kids on Bikes don't quite touch. So buy them all so you can get the full length from Goonies to It, and some of the more fun modern ones. Like I really like the Budding Scientist. That one's kind of exciting. And like Fine Art Student, like. How is a fine art student going to be useful in a ghost game? Well, you'll find out because we're going to talk to Tracy more about it later. But I really like those. So thanks, Tracy and Simon, for joining us. I promise I'd get you out of here in the half an hour.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer Yuri real quick. He asked if the pawns were going to be available separately, and they won't. So Holler and Pinebox, the pawns are in the box. That's the only way you can get them. They're not packaged for retail.
Good deal. So yeah, smart. Get the box. Go for the box. The box, and there's going to be more boxes in the box now because we opened up a card box, which is amazing. So get the nested. It's like a little Russian. What do they call those? Not babushka dolls.
Russian nesting dolls.
Nesting dolls. Yes. What do they call the Russian nesting dolls, Shane? Oh yes, Russian. Why they ever let me work for this company is beyond me. So we've got some great questions about Sway Supernatural, which I'm going to wait until we were talking to Shane because there's some cool stuff that Shane just finished writing that I'll speak to those two. But thanks, Tracy and Simon. We'll let you guys go. Guys and girl go. And get your games ready. So appreciate it. And we'll talk to you more later on in the campaign. Because the campaign's going great, folks. I mean, that's just 1,200 backers is amazing. So we're tickled pink, and everything from here on out is like icing on the cake. Or more cake, another layer on the cake, more pudding, whatever. It's good. It's good stuff.
Thanks, Chris.
So cheers, guys and gals.
Bye.
Okay, Clint, sir, what's your favorite new addition?
For the horror companion, Monstrous Heroes.
Okay, deep dive. This is big. This is really cool stuff. What are Monstrous Heroes? What's the deal there?
So that's when you actually get to play these horrific creatures, when you can play the vampire or a werewolf, and that we say monstrous, and even things like an angel, playing an actual angel, which, based off some supernatural based stories, they can be pretty monstrous in and of themselves, but I think that's definitely it for me, because this is a way back for me, way back. I ran a convention game called Horrors of War, where you basically played, whether it's trademarked or not, creatureless commandos during World War II, and that's that was very Universal movie monsters, and really it's a little bit more of a mix like that, playing the patchwork creation monster, Frankenstein's creation, things like that. But that's really, that's it for me. That's just phenomenal to have that in there. And in a way, it just kind of showcases this horror companion is going to provide more horrific options for your games,
So what are the design considerations there? I mean, how hard is it to, what are your ideas on balance? How many of these do you think are going to be in each party on average? Are these things that like werewolf, can you become a werewolf or a vampire from a mundane character? Is there a way to add on, or is it designed to like start as one of these things? So how does all that work?
So design-wise, it's designed that all of your characters would be that way. There is I think we have the thing in there of maybe one of the characters gains one of these. The way the monstrous, just so everybody knows, the way the Monstrous Heroes works is it's essentially a template you could put on any character. So if you want to bring this stuff into any kind of Savage Worlds game, like you can have a dwarven werewolf or a half-folk vampire. These aren't replacing those kind of racial types or anything like that, or those kind of things. These are just on top of it. So it's designed that way, and balance-wise, we went back to the core of it, and it's. I think we have that in there in the beginning, that all of these things are built essentially using packages of from the Superpowers Companion. And there's a thing in there of, if you want to make your own, this is how many points you have to work with. If you want to create something that's along those lines, like not something that's there, it's flexible enough to take that in the Superpower Companion. But if all you have is a Horror Companion, you've got those key ones there ready to go.
Yeah, right. So Teen Wolf, we got that. That's on the table. We can definitely, so the do we know? Do we have a list of what kind of monstrous heroes are available or set it up so far? Do you remember which ones are available beside definitely werewolf, right? So what other ones are currently available?
I'll let Shane to take that so that I'm not spoiling anything I'm not supposed to. I have to live with our COO.
I read them off last time. I'll do it again.
Okay, that works out. Yeah.
So, whoops, wrong chapter. 1 second. We have angels, we have demons, and we have a rules group that meets regularly. And one of the things I had been struggling with was a new ability for demons called Deal Maker. And I think we came up with something pretty cool for that. So we're doing a little more testing and polishing on it, but your demon's going to be able to make deals. Mummy, Patchwork Monster, Phantom, Revenant, Vampire, Werewolf.
Oh,
so all the darkness stuff, the prophecy stuff, which is one of my favorite movie series, Frankenstein, and demons. That's a pretty good mix, I think.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. So
but also remember, you can grab the Superpowers Companion and make anything you want. We had a swamp monster in here originally because I'm a big Man-Thing fan. I think it's right there. But it doesn't really make sense in most campaigns, right? You just can't really walk around as a walking pile of swamp muck. But it
works in life, though.
Right. And it was easy to do because we had the Superpowers Companion to base all that stuff off of. And sometimes you deviate a little bit because it might make sense for, an ability to be a little bit more or a little bit less within that context. But generally, it's a one-to-one kind of deal. It's super easy. Very nice.
So I was just reading that you just recently finished the polish on the angels and demons. So that kind of fits perfectly in with folks who've been asking about doing like a supernatural the show style thing, and really that's all you need for that show, right? Angels and demons added up, and then you've got your hunters, and that's your campaign right there. You only need those two.
Yeah, and what we said is if you want to run supernatural, so there's no human equivalents, just plain old human to those. So what you would want to do is grab the Superpowers Companion and do a 15-point character, right? A pulp level character, and put that alongside your angel, maybe your demon, a vampire. You can do the whole Buffy verse like that easily, right? And then you can bring in some of the cool setting rules from the Horror Companion, plus the crazy amount of monsters we give you, the genre specific edges and hindrances, the new powers. I mean, there's so much in here. And horror's, I don't know, it's hard to say it's my favorite because I guess everything is my favorite while I'm working on it. And then I get to hate it because it won't get done. And then I love it again when it is done. But, horror is our bread and butter at Pinnacle. Everything we do, even Last Parsec and 50 Fathoms and those kind of things, have aspects of horror to them.
That is true. So another big question for you, Shane, what are the companions like for folks who are just tuning in, they're new to Savage Worlds? Give some little talk about why the companions they're not in the core book, and what are they, what purpose they serve.
Okay, great. So the core Suede book gives you Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, or really we just call it the core rules. They give you so much. You can do supers, horror, fantasy, martial arts, sci-fi right out of the book, right? There's so much in there, and that's intentional, of course. But we're all fans of the same IPs that you all are, and we want that extra stuff that might help us tell a story like Star Wars or the Conjuring series or any of that kind of stuff, right? Supernatural is another great one. So in the companions, we can really expand on each of those genres, really open them up, dig in deep, get into the weeds, and find all that extra cool stuff. Not to mention all the extra monsters you get in all those settings, right? So if you want to run a D&D style campaign, the fantasy companion has tons of monsters. And I think, and the fans seem to think so too, we did a pretty good job of balancing what's core for fantasy in the fantasy companion and the Pathfinder bestiary at the same time, right? There's both complement each other very well. They don't duplicate each other too much. And for horror, not only do we have the monsters that you may have seen in the original edition of the horror companion. Oh yeah, that's my dog Brooklyn. Now you have the Lovecraft monsters, and our team went out and scoured, lots of other like cryptids and other cultures, monsters that we didn't have before. So it is just chock full of stuff. And what's so cool, since we all play Savage Worlds, if you're watching this, I'm sure you play Savage Worlds, you can bring any of those critters into your Pinebox campaign, your Holler campaign, your Deadlands campaign. You can take the Glom into Rifts like Clinton just talked about. You could. And let me mention something else that's pretty cool. You didn't ask me what my favorite parts of the companion were. My favorite part is everything. Now that's a cop-out answer, but I'm gonna give you some detail there. It is so seeded with stuff that ties in together in really cool ways, and a lot of stuff sometimes is preset for things we know are coming down the pipe. Okay, so I've been working on a setting called After for a while. I don't know if we'll keep that name, it's working title, but that's it's kind of an after Cthulhu takes over the world kind of deal, right? And it also is a funnel style game, much like Dungeon Crawl Classics or something. And for that, we use a deadly damage system that you'll find in the Horror Companion. And I think is very similar to what Carl Kiesler does in his Trailer Park Shark Attack adventures that I think are just freaking brilliant. So those kinds of things are in there. And you'll see them be the foundational parts of settings later on. And here in the Horror Companion, all these things tie together. And for example, one of the other setting rules we have is everyone's a wild card. Now it's not really everyone, but it's far more things are, right? So let's say you're doing a Pinebox adventure and the kids are trapped in a haunted house or a house all alone with a single zombie, but it's a wild card zombie. Right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just Walking Dead, but it's a wild card. And now you're just kids. You don't have guns and machetes and all that kind of stuff. That's a pretty good challenge, right? And run correctly and creepily and described correctly. That's a hell of an adventure. And that's a pretty low prep game.
Yeah, well, and that, for folks who aren't as familiar with Savage Worlds, if you guys are coming in now, the wild cards get a wild die, and it's a separate chance of success. And
wounds.
So for me, I've been playtesting this for animal companions because I don't want the dog to die in the adventure, but it's really hard to write a rule where it says that the pets don't die and then not have the super dog do all the winning. Like everything is just right. So it's very hard. So making them a wild card makes them so much more survivable. It's astounding what that one little designation does. So making more enemies wild cards just sounds like that's a real toughness level changer.
Right. And the original vision of Savage Worlds way back when I first wrote it, 2002-1 really was a Frazetta painting, right? I had this image of the savage part came from that. You're standing on a pile of corpses like, what's his name? Iron Wolf or something from the Frazetta shows, or the Death Dealer or something, right? And you're standing on this huge pile and you're swinging your sword and you're this barbarian thing. And then as we very quickly, right from the beginning, started expanding into other genres and other other settings, we got lucky and the system just happened to work for those things. And then by the time Clint came along and really helped me refine and polish and make things so much better, now it all fits together. And after this many editions, and most of our editions are pretty much the same game as we made back in the 2000s. There's a change to how strength damage works. and maybe shaken and some tweaks like that, but it's pretty close to it. And that lets you do things like Pinebox and Andy Hop's Lowlife, which is brilliant, right? You get to play anything from an irradiated Twinkie to a kaiju in our Dawn of the Kaiju setting. It's amazing. So my favorite part of the Horror Companion is that it all works together. I can use everything out there and bring it into my game. I can use stuff from here and bring it into those games. And it's a lot of work on our end. It looks awfully simple sometimes, but that's because we struggle mightily to simplify it so that it's easy for you to run at your table, so you could focus on the action and the adventure and describing the story to your players.
Well, and that's kind of the role Clint plays too, right? Clint often provides the devil's advocate or the foil for Shane on design to kind of work out how do we get this to be elegant and make sure it's fast, furious, and fun. Because there's a lot of things that sound great on paper, right? I mean, to me, like I saw someone comment, like Savage Worlds plays much better than it reads. It's like some things might not make sense, and I think it reads fine, but there are definitely games that are the opposite, and those are very disappointing. And I run across this as a budding game designer, is a design that sounds so elegant on paper just doesn't meet the needs at the table, and you're so disappointed with it because it sounds like a great mechanic. And if it doesn't meet the needs at the table, and I think that's where Clint comes in all the time. So, Clint, what is it like, maintaining that over the years? Where, like Shane said, there's like 2 or 3 pages of updates for a lot of our really big settings from a decade ago, and people are like, when's the new edition coming out? It's like you only need, here's the secret: we can sell it to you again. There's really only like 2 pages of rules updates, and if we do want to revisit, we kind of want to do a whole lot more to relaunch it than just release it new. But PK's got an idea about some of the other systems that just have like, it sounds brilliant but doesn't play well. So what's it like, sir, being maintaining that quality, that level of, and the expectation of like really fun, fast, furious play, even with the growing toolbox of kind of settings that Savage Worlds can tackle?
Yep. Next question.
Okay, cool. Next question.
No. I mean, it's great because it really is, and I said that we've had people that have come on board, recently, so to speak, meaning in the past couple of years or so, or last year and stuff like that. And the thing I love about what we do is that it really is a group effort. Everybody is working together to make the product better. Those rules reviews where we get together and we hammer stuff out. And by the time we're done with that, we figured out something better than anything that we came in with, or we've returned to that thing sometimes and we've gone, nope, that really was the best idea, But it is a joy in many ways to make those things work out and realize, there's, some juggling involved of, hey, we've done this before in another setting. And it's like, we have somebody who's written something. It's like, hey, I like the idea of this hindrance. And it's like, we've got that, that's somewhere else. And making sure that, we're not just duplicating some things that, people wouldn't, pull in. But if you are taking a character out of, you build a character with the horror companion and the GM decides to throw you into Deadlands and you've got, your character has this hindrance and then he has a Deadlands character who has the same hindrance with the same name. He knows it's working the same way, those kind of things. And in general, it's just, like Shane said, there have been so few actual changes along the way. And I will say that a chunk of them happened like in the first revised edition of some stuff that happened there. So, some people haven't even seen it, that kind of thing. And it's just been, it is nice to think. We did that with Suede when we released it. The folks at Wild Cards did an actual play of Last Rites of the Blackguard, the very first licensed adventure that was made for Savage Worlds in 2003, the year like the game came out. and they
Yeah,
were
that's
able
a
to pick
big
up
thing for next
Suede
year,
and run
folks.
it. Yeah.
Right? I mean, 2003, 2023, just you can do the math. It's going to be a big anniversary next year. So
That's right. It's
hold your
coming.
hats for some good stuff coming there. So it wouldn't be Halloween. And talking about, the old stuff, you need to tell us a story about when you acquired a goth from your Savage Worlds expertise. How did that come about, sir?
Oh, so the story goes back to the Gen Con immediately after we first released the first version of Superpowers Companion. And I'm in the booth, and this young man comes up to me, and I promise you, he checked all the boxes. He is dressed completely in black. He has black eyeliner. He has everything going on. Just completely black. And he is asking for me by name. And I've never met this guy to my knowledge. I have no idea what he wants. And he comes up and he thanked me for saving his World of Darkness game. And I was just kind of blown away. And I understand it. He said that he had read a post I made on the forums talking about how you could use the Superpowers Companion to run games of that nature by creating templates using the points. I will say, in admission, that I had done the same thing for Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. No shade on the Eden Studios version of that game. Obviously, they gave you everything you needed. I certainly used it for source material, but I had said that, and he had converted his game to Savage Worlds. And while it seems a little bit like, how did that save your game? The guy told me that he had, as I recall, 8 or 9 players in his game. Like almost like he was running a LARP at the table. He had so many players, and trying to run it like that, he said it had made the game run smoother, faster, everything. And he had gone, the way it saved it was it had gone from being near burnout with the game to being excited to run it again.
Yeah, Savage Worlds is really the only system I think I'd ever try to run that many players with. Even if Shane didn't get enough spotlight time when he played as Ranger. Sorry, Shane. There were alligators that needed to be humped by the courtesan, and that's just the way it was. But guys, actually, Yuri had a really good question for Shane. This is a layup. Love your shirt, Shane. So tell us about the shirt, man.
There is a company on Facebook that sells these crazy shirts. They have like Jaws. I have a World War I dogfight shirt, and this one, if you can see it, is Shipwrecks. And it's just really cool and really light, which is important here in Arizona. And I love them. So I thought I'd wear something cool today since it's a horror game. Shipwreck.
It is super cool. And and that's not a spoiler that 50 Fathoms is getting re-released the next month, because it's not.
No.
I'm just saying. That is a very common question, though, folks. So last question, because we're almost done. Anything else that we're no, let's do the what are we looking forward to in the new year, Shane? That's what are you willing to let us know on what's coming up?
Wow, so much. I'm looking forward to having my physical copy of Holler. I think it's one of the coolest, most unique things we've done. I'm looking forward to getting my companions. It was so nice this week working on the horror companion to reach over and grab my physical copy of the Superpowers Companion. It's just wonderful. I am looking forward to announcing some brand new stuff next year. Some things I think people will not expect to see coming. And I'm looking forward to shipping container costs coming down because it really hurt us this year. Transportation, gas, etc., just was a huge hit to us this year. So that'll do for me.
Well, and so you're too modest, because Shane just submitted the manuscript to Sound Booth Theater for what's the name of your wonderful Narco Christmas Terror?
So Kringle Down 3, I just finished. And I am very blessed that the wonderful folks at Sound Booth Theater are going to do their audio production of it again. I tell you what, this one is longer, bigger, and when I started it, I was like, where am I going to go this time? I've got to work in all this crazy stuff I did before. I don't want to spoil it. And Narco Terror. And I was struggling for a bit. And then this idea hit me. and I just sat down and the words just kept coming out. And,
That's good.
I would love to say I'm a great writer, but sometimes I just sit back and watch my fingers go, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? John, they are released on Amazon. They're print on demand on Amazon and Kindle. You can get them anytime you want. I am proud of these. They are very R. We do things very PG-13 at Pinnacle. These are not Pinnacle products. These are Shane products. And I don't normally do R-rated stuff either, but these just would not stay in my brain. They came out. They've been made. I'm proud of them. I think you'll enjoy them if you like dark, twisted Christmas humor.
And speaking of the third one,
Clint, the third one. Yes, I will have it up on Amazon almost certainly by the end of next week.
In time for Christmas.
In time for Christmas. Thanks, John.
Awesome. So the other third one, Clint, there's a certain property of yours that's going to have a number 3 behind it coming up next year. Super excited. Tell us about it.
Yeah, Necessary Evil 3, the cosmic level Necessary Evil. It's it's kind of been in the box for a while. Like, ready to go. We've had it on the set, and it's it's exciting. We are talking, just so everybody's here, when we say cosmic level, we're not saying, just space and expansive, and yes, that's going to all happen, but we're talking power level 5 superpower companion, 75 PowerPoint characters.
It's so fun. And you know what? I still died 3 times. All that power. Phenomenal cosmic power, itty bitty living space.
That's the best part about Savage Worlds, though, is it can always be your day. The rolls can just, it's not an ablative system, so you can't guarantee, I can survive 10.
Right. Plus, it turns out that when you're a cosmic level superhero, so are the villains.
No, the heroes in this case, right? Because the heroes are dead.
Right.
There's quasi-villains, and then there's the more villainous villains. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I think I got killed by a hero and a villain, so that's right. It was an Aladdin quote.
Sorry, I was dead at the time.
Yeah, I died 3 times. It was rough, but the black hole shall return, and he did every time.
That's so good. And the exciting part about that, though, right, is that it's not just releasing 3. There's a whole new art and all the stuff for 1 and 2 as well.
That's right. So 1 will get all new original art. So Storm Cook did the art for the first time around, and we love Storm, but a lot of it wasn't ours. So we're going to redo it and make it match our art style, kind of our house art style. 2, Necessary Evil 2, which I wrote, Breakout. It will get some new art, and we'll keep the old art because it fits, really well. And Necessary Evil 3, of course, is all new art because it's an all new story.
Oh, that's going to be, so for folks who haven't picked that up, you can pick up all 3. That's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. But we're out of time, folks. So thank you for joining us for Halloween 3. We were going to keep the Halloween train going. We're so excited you're going to get Holler in your hands in January. We tried to make it earlier, but the shipping just would not cooperate. Sorry, folks. But as Simon showed, it looks amazing. That's a really big, heavy box. It's chock full of stuff. There's still time to pre-order if you wanted to ship. So head on over to pegging.com, click on Game Changers, click on Holler. You can order Holler, and it will be delivered in the first round in January, assuming everything works. You never know. It is the Christmas season, and then there's New Year's things. But anyways, this is just the beginning of Halloween. If you guys were going to be back again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern for the East Texas University retrospective, where you get to ask all your questions about the deep history of ETU with the creators there and get some updates on the Pinebox Middle School Kickstarter. And then on Sunday, we've got an S5E, Superheroic Role-Playing 5th Edition. The folks at Sigil are amazing. There were some questions here about Accursed and how Accursed works with the Horror Companion and all of that good stuff. So now that Accursed is in. So ask those questions during the S5E panel on Sunday, because it will be the Sigil folks, and they will be able to give you a much better answer on how that works. So that'll be on Sunday. And then S5E is literally superheroes for 5th edition, because Sigil is doing great work at doing some new 5e properties and then perhaps adapting some other properties for 5es for us. And then also on Sunday, Clint will be there with Jody for the Duet Gaming, which is how to play one-on-one. So those are the remaining panels. And it is time to game now, Jody. I told Shane and Clint I'd get them out for their games, and they got games starting in 20 seconds. So we're going to make that deadline. So we appreciate you, folks. There are only a couple seats left in Halloween games. Tabletop.events. It's the second convention down on the list. Come join us. It's all free. There's only a couple seats left. Otherwise, we're sold out. So thank you, folks, for being amazing on the Kickstarter and for celebrating Halloween 3 with us. Cheers.
Happy Halloween.